Okay, Robert back here. Got this old 228B, probably from back in the early 30s. To get another B, I wanted to get going. I stole some parts off of it, and I don't have the exact parts I need, but I've got some that's close enough. So we said we get this thing in the vise and see if we can get it going. Y'all can see my vent is in two pieces. I'll make it work for now. Hopefully I can find another one later on. Okay, I had another 228B. Someone had broke off the vent stud and they had shot a self-tapping screw and it went off center, and it, I don't know if I'd pick it up on camera or not, but it put a hairline crack in the top of that mixer. And so that lantern was a lot better shape, so I took the mixing chamber off this one and put on it to keep it original. And I still can't find the original mixer like this one for that age, but I did pick up one from Old Coleman Parts. It was listed for this, but it's a little bit newer model, so that's about as close as I'm going to find one. It's got these little things on the side, be about the only difference. But we're going to go ahead and use this one, see if we can get this thing going. And also, I had a stove, or I can't remember if it was a 500 stove or something I had a while back ago. Might have been an old mil-spec lantern or something. This was broke off inside the check valve, and I soldered it back on here. I was able to get it out, and I soldered it back on here, but I didn't solder it straight, and so it won't thread in there straight. It's a pain in the hind end. So I was able to find another one of these from Old Coleman. Okay, I've already took that screw out previously. It's around here in this mess somewhere. I mean, it's been a year ago or so, but I've got another one. Try to turn that by hand, and it's not wanting to turn. I've had it out before, so it shouldn't be too bad. So I'm just going to take my plumber's flaring tool. I'm just going to tighten that down on there. There we go. It's turning simple enough. It just, for some reason, it set up there and didn't want to come off by hand. Now, here's going to be the fun part. These old B's, they've done this air tube in two pieces. You screw the top part down, and then you got a little short extension under the bottom that goes in under the frame. So you really don't have no room to get a wrench in there, so you really got to fight this. Okay, first of all, let's pull some adapter rings out of here. Let's make a home for this in the vise. want to tighten it down just yet. I just want it to set in there. I have heated this wrench. I've showed this in other videos. Bent it where it's got an angle, and I took it to the grinder and ground it down fairly thin so I can get in here on these B's. Turn them, but it's still a pain in the hind end. You still don't get much of a turn no matter where you go. So you basically just got to keep fighting with it. You might get an 1/8 of inch turn there. Turn it back around. Get a little bit better turn there. Go back over here and you might get an 1/8 again. And you get back over here, you can get a halfway decent turn again. Now it's loose enough for it to move. Alright. Now we can lock this thing in the vise. I had an old piece of leather to protect that I've used for several years now, and it was really about wore out anyway, and now I've laid it down and misplaced it. I had it earlier working on another project, so it's got me another piece of leather. A little too big. Let me cut it down a little bit. This locked in the vise, it should turn loose fairly easy. Yeah, there we go. Now that assembly there, just pop right out of there. You can take this bottom of that tube loose, but there's no point in it. I mean, it unthreads, but that's exactly where I need it because the top tube will thread right down against it, and that's my stop point. I learned my lesson on my other B, not to take that loose, because if you don't line it back up right, I mean, you have to take the lantern completely back apart before you can get anywhere with it. So I want to leave that in place. That way I know exactly where to thread my other one to. Okay, I thought I had the camera on and I didn't. My valve was froze up. All I done was took the micro torch, I heated up that packing nut, and it freed it right up where it turned freely. So sorry you missed that. Okay, our collar is in really rough shape. So that's nickel plated or tin plated. Looks like tin plated. That's all going to come off there. I mean, I'll probably have to, as bad a shape that is, I probably have to take the wire brush grinder to it, the drill. But for now, it's going in the vinegar bath. Okay, you gotta be really careful right here on these brass founts. These things are really soft. Brass is thin. I seen Bruce the other day. He had cut the open end out of one wrench and silver soldered the wrenches together where he could turn with both hands to keep an even pressure. I don't have the ability to do that. I'm just going to use a socket. What I'll do is I mash down with this hand with steady pressure, and I will turn with the other hand. And like I said, I don't want to mash down with this hand because that will warp that fount. Just going to turn gentle. Try to keep even pressure. We got it. This should be a 3/8. Pull that pin out of there. Just going to give this spring a gentle stretch while I've got it out of there. Just put just a little life back into it. It's been probably compressed closed for no telling how many years. Now all of this is ready for the vinegar. I'm going to turn this around where we can get a better angle on that check valve. I honestly can't even remember if I put the check valve back in this. I think I've had it out a year or so ago. Noah took the air stem out. Yep, feels like it's got one in it. It locked into place on something. I'm hoping this will be a good check valve. I think this is the one that the stem was broke off in my other B. I think I just swapped them out. So let's get this in the vinegar, let her be soaking, and we're going to put it back together. If it don't work, we'll have to order a new one. Okay, the last thing in the disassembly is to remove the fuel cap gasket. Just as I suspected, it's rock hard. It's got to go. So we'll thread that back down on there. Thread that fairly tight. Hopefully it'll grip and we can turn the screw out. Simple enough. If that just slips, you can tighten that down tighter, and till it grips, and turn that out screwdriver. It really makes it hard to get back off her when you tighten it that tight. Heat up that old seal till it starts to swell. It'll turn red and crack and swell. Okay, it's still hot, so don't touch it. As you can see, I'm just holding it down with a screwdriver. And now I've heated that, and it's brittle enough. I can take this pick, just break it into little chunks, break it out of there. Alright, now she's ready for the new gasket. Okay, that's the early 228B completely disassembled. We'll make this the end of this video, and y'all watch for part 2 for reassembly. Okay, y'all know the routine. Like, share, subscribe. God bless.